Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to review a comic that could end up turning out to be quite significant in the history of Star Wars comics and in the history of Star Wars, period, to be honest. And that is Supreme Leader Snoke from the Age of Resistance series. We haven't been able to learn much from Snoke, and that's because he's such a mysterious character. But I believe that mystery will start to be unraveled and peeled back a bit as we get into this video. As we get closer to the release of the Rise of Skywalker, certainly all will be revealed once it's released. But until then, I believe this comic gives us subtle clues as to who Snoke really is. So I hope you guys enjoy. Here we go. The story starts off by Snoke asking Kylo Ren if he is afraid. Kylo says no. Snoke is training Ren on a planet in what is known as the Rarlek system. Snoke goes on to say he is not in control as he holds him over a chasm of some sort, using a power similar as he used on Rey in The Last Jedi. He says Ren is confused and filled with doubt. Snoke goes on to say that Kylo is powerless and that powerless men often turn to anger and blindly lash out with rage, and that they can either use that rage to strike or fall. Also, we see glimpses of that black ring throughout these images, which we'll touch on later in this video. It's at precisely that point that Snoke releases Ren from his grip and allows him to free fall to certain death on a bed of razor-sharp, spiky rocks down below. From up top, Snoke tells him to use his fear and turn it into anger, and then anger to power. Suddenly, before Ren hits rock bottom, he somehow manages to stop his fall at the last second, sort of like Luke did against his scuffle with Rey. When Ren survives, Snoke goes on to say, one would think sarcastically, "You didn't die then." Ren asks, "Would you have caught me if I did it myself?" Snoke responds with, "Skywalker would've." But he says that would have held Kylo back from his true potential and power. Snoke goes on to say, "If you will rule by my side, then I can't have you defeated by heights." Kylo passes the first test. Next, we see Snoke and Ren walking towards what seems to be Ren's Upsilon command shuttle. Ren asks Snoke, "Where are we going?" Snoke responds, "To continue training elsewhere, to challenge you, to face what is holding you back, and you will either fail or kill it." In these next images, we again see close-ups of Snoke's ring while a pilot informs Snoke that they're at their destination. Ren, with helmet in hand, gets smacked right across the face as Snoke tells him to leave it. Snoke, who obviously has great disdain for Ren's mask, says, "You can't hide behind a mask here. You can't pretend to be Vader in this place." Then, with Ren's question of, "Where are we?" it is discovered that the destination is none other than Dagobah. While onboarding the shuttle, Ren says he can still feel his Uncle Luke from his time here. Snoke adds that one of the most formidable Jedi started his training here. Kylo then goes on to say, "Why do you speak of him like that? With respect." And here is where we get a subtle verbal glimpse of who Snoke might truly be: Darth Sidious. Snoke replies, "He has earned my respect and fear." Kylo says, "He is weak." Snoke replies, "He is not weak, he is misguided." Then here, another verbal glimpse: "If I had your uncle by my side instead of you, the galaxy would have been mine a long time ago." Now finally, as Kylo is just about to enter the famous cave, he says he feels cold, death, and more. Snoke goes on to say, "The cave is power and darkness, and you will enter." Kylo asks, "What's in there?" "Only what you've been too weak to bury," Snoke says. This is alluding to his reluctance in letting go and killing his past, both figuratively and literally, the murder of his whole family. Snoke then eggs him on manipulatively by saying, "Or you can run away if you'd like." With Kylo choosing to enter, he then sees Luke saying, "I don't want to fight you." Kylo says, "I don't care." Snoke, seemingly strong with the Force, is able to sense the vision also from the outside and says that he senses his decision, and that Luke would have murdered him in his sleep because Luke feared Kylo. He feared how powerful he would become. Whether Kylo can hear Snoke's thoughts or words as well is unknown in this depiction, but Snoke goes on to say, "Your hatred for him is right." Possibly stoking Ren's hate from the outside, he then says, "Use that hatred. Rise above what's holding you back, and to strike against the light that's within you." Kylo then strikes a fatal blow to Luke. Kylo says, "I'm ready, Master. I'm done." But Snoke responds, "You're not done. It's far from over." Someone calls out to Kylo, "Ben." It's Leia, who pleads for him to stop, alongside Han. She pleads again with Ben responding, "That's not my name." Leia goes on, "It is. You are Ben Solo. You are our son and you are love," as Kylo pulls away from his mom's advance. Snoke from the outside is sensing it all and says, "I feel the struggle within you. Defeat it. Kill the connection. Snuff it out," as Kylo's in a rage. But with the conflict still in him, it's discovered that he's directed his rage toward a tree inside the cave instead. He couldn't bring himself to kill his parents. Meanwhile, Snoke on the outside, only being able to sense Kylo's rage and vision, but not being able to actually see his deeds or lack thereof, issues his apprentice a job well done. Then he says he would like to see. Then an explosion happens. "Your show of power is impressive," Snoke says. He goes on to say that the cave stood for thousands of years, and he hoped to bring other apprentices to it. Kylo, true to form, says, "The past is the past," and that Snoke won't need other apprentices. The comic comes to its conclusion while Snoke grins with a seemingly pleasing and approving smirk. So before we end the video, guys, I want to touch on one thing, and that's Snoke's black ring. Throughout the whole comic, we see glimpses of it, close-ups of it, and also we see it in The Last Jedi. Also, another source we have is The Last Jedi Visual Dictionary, where we see kind of a full description of what this ring is. It has a connection to the Dwarti, and as we see in episode 3, where Palpatine and Anakin are standing right outside of his office, that we see the Dwarti statues. So immediately, there's a connection right there from Revenge of the Sith. And according to the Visual Dictionary, there is an image pictured in the Visual Dictionary, and there's a description that states that it's made from obsidian from catacombs beneath Darth Vader's Mustafar castle. So it's not a stretch to say that maybe this obsidian might have some sort of mystical power that connects to Darth Vader, some sort of mystical connection to Darth Vader. That's my guess, but there is a definite connection between this ring, Snoke, and Palpatine. There's no doubt about it, and that is my belief that it is Snoke who was used as a vessel for Palpatine, and that's why Palpatine will be back in episode 9. So alright guys, we're at the end of the video, and as always I ask you to please like, subscribe, and share this all over, and remember to always keep it
charming to the last. What will you